that's Dorota, Palicka International Nail Artist and Educator here, and today we are going to sculpt some fresh set for Marley. I will be using a sculpting forms, and we will go for a tapered square, kind of almost coffin, but because it's a much shorter set, I would call it more of a tapered square rather than a coffin shape. So I've got my forms in here, and the nails have been scratched to remove any shine from the nail plate. And then we are going to put the piece of the form on the back of it and close the form. You can see it, her nails are quite straight, so if I would apply the form like this, it wouldn't work. I need to cut out the form so I can nicely slide this inside underneath of the natural nails. And that's what I'm going to do it. So I'm just cutting out the shape so it's not as rounded, so I can nicely slide it in. She also got some nail folds which are quite decent as well, so we need to cut the form on the sides too. And this way I can squeeze it underneath. Okay, so that's the form sitting in nicely. And I can move on into another nail. Exactly the same. So peel the sticker. Thank you, you too. Bye. And then just cut out. The next nail is quite tricky because it doesn't grow straight. So we need to take that into the consideration as well when we're doing the shape of the nail. So I'm just cutting it. And then sliding underneath of the nail. Close the form and pinch it. Okay, and now I can move on to another nail. I'm actually not binning those piece of papers. I'm keeping it into for mixing my paints. This is a great tip because you don't have to bin them, you can reuse them. Okay, so we are cutting the form for another nail. Roll it to pre-pinch it in between your fingers. This way you get a nicer shape. Usually you can see it, I'm kind of hiding a client view. I don't like when the clients help me too much with the form application because then it becomes much more difficult. And then we've got another nail in. And I'm always applying about four forms on the one hand, and then I'm starting to applying some, like at least one form on the other hand, and then I'm swapping the hands. I'm actually going to, in this video, I will show you the full process how I'm working on the client, because quite often we struggle like how to plan it. And you can see it, I'm not like perfect on cutting those forms 100% because I don't need to kind of follow 100% of the free edge because we've got a decent one, so we can hook the form underneath. Okay, so I've got 4 nails done in here, and then we are going to apply only one form on the other hand, so I can start applying product on this hand and speed up the entire process of doing the extensions. And straight away on my right hand, I have learned that she's got a tiny hyponychium on the index finger, so I'm straight away cutting those tiny hyponychium out so I can fit in the form better and I don't have to recut it. Okay, I take your left hand, hide it, and then slide it. And we've got another nail. The longer extensions you do, the more precise you need to be with your form application, because there is no forgiveness the longer the nails are. When I'm sometimes sculpting very short nail, like someone has a natural nails and they break a one, I'm just sliding the form in, and you get an absolutely fine shape as well, as long as the free edge is fit in properly and there is no gaps. Like, you cannot have any gaps. I have applied a nail prep, which is a nail dehydrator, and now I'm applying universal air bond. An universal air bond gives a really good adhesion of the product to the natural nails. If you've got a client which has problematic nails, you can apply it twice. I wouldn't class Marley nails as problematic nails because she can get away like 4 to 5 weeks, which is absolutely awesome. And I actually didn't have any lifting when I was removing, except the thumb nail. When I was removing those nails, so they lasted her really well. Now I've got dilemma, what color do I actually? I'm going to go for a cover nude, because I might do so. For a change, I'm going to go for a cover nude. So this one is a slightly darker. I'm actually show you all of them as well. So that's the darkest one, and that's the cover nude. Then we've got a medium one, which is perfect rose, and perfect rose, that's the color which I'm using the most. Okay, so that's a perfect rose. And that's dark nude for a change. You can see the difference in between them. And then our lightest gel is a milky pink, and milky pink is the lightest from all of them, and I like to use it for baby boomer, so we can see as milky pink, perfect rose, and dark, the darkest color, that's our cover nude gel. They are available on our website, which is www.dorotapalicka.com, and for a change I'm going to use this one today. So that is the cover nude. I'm showing it all because you guys ask me quite often this question, so this way you will be able to see them against each other, because then that gives you a better idea of the coverage. Okay, so I'm just grabbing my gel brush. I'm storing it always in the drawer, away from the light. Shape it nice, and then the first nail we can start sculpting. So let me do this. Perfect. Applying the forms on the clients is always quite a difficult task, like especially when we want to do the full set of the extensions with the forms, in case they can bang it or that, because that will change the shape of the nail. Now I need to check with you, what length would you like? Quite short, like very, very short, or like C to the letter S, M?
In between S and M.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so we are going in between S and M, and if that's your final length, I suggest you go a little bit longer, so you've got something to file. Okay, so this is the length Marley wants, but I'm going to go a tiny bit longer, so I've got some extra stuff to file. Then I'm picking up another scoop of the product, brush it in on the nail bed, and then another scoop. You can see it, the gel is quite thick in consistency, and I need to work it out quite a lot. I personally don't like to work with the product which is this consistency. I very don't like to work with the product in such a consistency, because it takes so much time, so extra time for me. I prefer it when the product is really nice and runny. But when the product is runny, I would do maybe one nail at a time. Now I can do it more. Okay, so sculpt my free edge. And then move on into another nail. So press it harder first. And then pick up the scoop of the product. Okay, go all the way down. This is actually going to be so different to what I'm normally working. Okay, and then if you want, you can clean it up if you're really fussy. Usually it takes me the same time to touch it up with the file like it does with the brush. So whichever way you prefer it, guys, I would say it's entirely up to you. You can do it with your brush or you can do it with the file. Okay, once the skeleton is on, I can start curing it, so inside the lamp. And at the same time, I've got first nail ready here, so I can apply the product on this one nail. Apply it on the free edge. We are also going to pinch those nails lightly, just so they've got a nicer shape. And in order to be able to pinch, you need to cure it half of the time. So that's instead of the 60 seconds in a LED light, we are going to cure it for 30 seconds. Perfect change. So I'm applying a pinching clamp, and her nails are nice and strong, so I don't have to worry that I'm going to over pinch it or I'm going to cause any damage. You can see it like how nicely they starting to become like so narrow, not so? Yep. The pinky is so tiny that I'm just going to kind of pinch it, very gentle, not sore. No. Change your hand and freeze the pinky on its own for 2-3 seconds. Change again. And release the clamp. Okay, the pinky is so little that I don't want to keep this pinching clamp any longer on the pinky. And then I can leave the pinching clamp just as normal. Not sore? No. On the other nails. Is this one okay as well? Yeah. Perfect change. If you would feel it anything, please let me know. And then I can do the rest of the curing process. Then we are going to do it another nail. This one actually, from the shape of it, I might be okay without of even trimming the form. Let me try it. Yes, I will be okay without of trimming the form. Relax your hand a little bit. When this is drying, I've got time to apply the form on another nail. So you are not wasting your time, you're constantly doing something. This one, of course, I need to cut it out because it has those large nail folds, which actually makes Marley's nails quite similar to mine. So I would say they are relatively easy for me to do it. Because I kind of know how to do my nails, and hers are very similar. Then apply this one, Universal Air Bond. What we have to do with this one? Pinching clamp. So pinching clamps goes with this one. And then I can apply the product on the middle finger. Just relax it. Then build up the free edge. And change. Okay, so I can release those pinching clamps from the nails and build another one. maybe not do the skeleton, because we are not building the extensions yet. We will build the structure in the next step. Your hands are so cold as well. Perfect, change. Release the pinching clamp, universal air bond, and then pinching clamp on this one. And the form on the pinky. And on the pinky I need to cut the form quite decent, because she's got quite short nail beds on the pinkies. Just so I can slide it underneath. Change your hands. Okay, I'm going to build up the structure, so check if there is any missing places. I have no missing places. I can release the form and I can start building the structure on the pinky. So nice and thin layer. And then build up the apex. So I'm picking up a small scoop of the product and building up the apex. It's going to be a tiny apex because her pinky is tiny. Change. Check this one is okay as well. So I also making it much comfier for the clients and to work for me as well by removing those forms which we don't need anymore. Change. And then building the apex on another nail. Pick up a scoop of the product. You can see it, I'm kind of doing almost like a reverse smile line when I'm building my structure, because I want some of those side walls to be gone, like I don't want them to be as low. Change. Pinching clamp. I'm repinching this one just at the free edge. Universal air bond. Wait for this to dry and then apply the skeleton. I'm actually going in this video, what I'm going to do it, guys, because we've got all the skeleton done, I'm going to pause it for a second and I will put the gel into the heater to show you how much faster I will work with the different consistency. Perfect change, thank you. Okay, I have put it on the heating. It didn't took long, but you can see it now. This is the consistency I prefer to work with. Probably it will go solid in a minute because it's quite cold in a salon anyway, but look how much nicer it is. So now I can apply it much smoother and better. So if you're struggling because your product is too warm, you can always just put it on into the heater, and then I've got a really nice and runny consistency, which I don't need to work out as much. Okay, so that's a wee tip for you, and you can see it like how much nicer it is to work with. But there are some nail technicians which actually prefer to work with the thicker consistency gels. So I think this is quite nice as well, that we can adjust the temperatures and we can play with it a little bit depending on what consistency we like. Perfect change. Okay, so I can apply the structure here, nice and thin layer. Gosh, this is so much easier. I was so struggling with the... Okay, so much better.
I like the natural, but I want to go for something that's very pale. So is
change.
That
Remove the form.
Are you just wanting like a full color?
yeah, full colour.
And then we move on into next nail.
I want a very pale.
That might be our lightest one, yeah. I think so. It's usually between this one and this one.
I think that one's paler. Yeah, I'll go for that one then.
Hard gel. The hard
She
gel.
wants hard gel as well.
For that one, but hard gel, yes.
Perfect change.
Because last time you put only polish and just...
Okay, I can move on into another one.
Hard gel as well.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And a scoop. It's funny because it is April and we actually had some snow yesterday. Today is nice and sunny, but it's still very cold. Change. Okay, and this hand is actually finished, so I'm just going to finish the curing change. Like as far in as you can go. Perfect. So I've got time to finish those 2 nails, and in the other time my hand should cure. And I will be able to show you the filing. So I'm straight away applying Apex on 2 of those nails. And when you're applying the product on 2 nails, you cannot go too much to the sides, because by the time you're finishing applying it to the one nail, the other nail, the first one you did, it will run to those sides. Okay, so I take that into the consideration when I apply the product, and I only applied it in the middle. And then if it doesn't run to the side, I can just touch it up. Change. Okay, time for filing. We are not going to have much of the filing, really, because the edges are much thinner. It's just a couple movements of the file, and we get the shape. So I'm filing the sides. Shorten the free edge. remove the bulk from the side. And I've got a beautiful tapered square nail. Blend around the free edge, around the cuticle area. And then move on into the next one. Shorten the free edge, because Marley wanted the shorter nails. And then blend around the cuticle area again. And you can see there are some places which I didn't touch, even with the file, because I can just buff them. And I'm going to show you that as well. Blend around the cuticle area. And then smooth the entire nail. You can also see it how nicely pinched they are. And by checking the hairline, I can check the shape of the entire nail as well. That is pretty helpful. So when you look at your free edge and you look through the entire nail, you can see it, the places where you've got more product and where you've got less product. Okay, so that's my nails, the biggest bulk of the product removed. And now using the buffer, I'm just going to smooth them out. And this way you know how to do the tapered square nail extensions on forms. And I definitely prefer the tapered square over the normal square. I think it looks just slimmer and nicer. You can see it when I'm filing around the cuticle areas. I'm protecting my client's nail folds so I don't cut her. So always make sure you hold it there so you don't catch the skin. And then buff on this nail. You can remove the dust and check the client view as well, because usually checking the client view show any kind of imperfection. So I know I need to blend much more on this finger. That's the free edge isn't 100% straight in there. And I quite like to, after I have done the bulk of the filing, I quite like to check this client view and just perfect my shape, because it doesn't take me as long and it's making a really huge difference to the entire look of the nail extensions. Okay, so I know I need to blend this one more. Okay, once I'm happy, I can move on into the next step. So remove the dust and then clean Marley's cuticle. I have removed any cuticle which was on the nail plate. Now I just need to trim the nail fold. Sorry. That's okay. So I'm pushing it back and then I'm gently trimming any excess on the nail fold. The reason why I do it this way for quite a lot of clients is like some of them got really gentle cuticles and nail folds, and that prevents any kind of soreness or cuts to them, because when we remove this gentle area and then we file, it's quite easy to catch the clients, but working this way I have no troubles. So basically that's this set finish, and I hope guys you have learned quite a lot, like how to do a sculpted tapered square nails, and I'm sending you lots of glittery hacks, and bye for now.